So y'all, I'm gonna go take a walk over here by the new garden, but there's something I kind of wanted to talk about, and I'm pretty sure most everybody who would watch my channel would probably be up to date on current events, and not exactly the current events put out by the mainstream media either. The current events that are really happening in this world that they're not promoting those topics, or they're not covering those topics in their news. It's just terrible that they're not doing it. But I tell you, we're in some pretty dangerous times, and I've hit a few videos in the past to kind of try and start educating people on banks and governments and what's happening in that kind of arena, and really the malfeasance going on in those areas of our economy, the political arenas, the financial arenas, and they're really taking it to us. Everybody knows we get screwed with taxes. What's really happening here with these taxes and what they're doing with them is probably something most of us don't want them doing. Taking people to war, forcing other countries to capitulate to the whatever regime is in government, and our government is in place. And look, we as the voters, we are to blame for that, because we voted these people in office and they enriched themselves on our backs by using our tax dollars to fund a military industrial complex that puts the rest of the world under the boot of the government of our country. And I love my country. Don't for once think I'm poo-pooing on my country. I love my country, and that's what makes me mad, is what they've done to it. What they've done to the thoughts of freedom, to the thoughts of liberty and escape from tyranny that people have fought and lost their lives for in the past. I mean, every one of them guys that fought the Revolutionary War must be rolling in their graves for what they gave up for that. It's terrible where we are now. But this is what I wanted to get at with this. And I'm going to take you down a little short road, and I want you to understand that every one of us is partly to blame for this, and because of voting. But I can tell you, I just don't know how to stop it, because our choices that are put in front of us, I don't want any of them. I wish people would run for office that couldn't be manipulated, that couldn't be soiled or tarnished or turned into wrong direction. I mean, these people are, even if you go in trying to do something good, I think they'll find something on you to hold against you to make you fall in line. But anyway, the rest of the world, and when I say the rest of the world, I mean a lot of countries that we have forced to do our biddings in the past, are starting to align against us. And you might say, well, who cares? We're the most powerful nation on earth, and really, we could probably handle a lot of crap coming our way. But let me tell you, countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like Jordan, countries like Syria, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, I promise you, none of them gives one hoot about us in any way, besides we had money and we had the power, and we were giving them the money, and if they got out of line, we enforced our power, we inflicted our wrath upon them. And I can tell you now, they have always been at each other's throats over there. They have always been enemies to each other, but I think they are starting to understand, if they come together for just this one spot of time in history, they might be able to do something about us And when I mean do something about us, you might say all of the Middle Eastern countries together couldn't hold a candle to us. Well, it ain't just them anymore. They have the backing of the other two world superpowers to go ahead and do what they want to do now. So we screwed if this comes together. And let me tell you, you might say, whoa, they'll never get together. When we form a covenant with other countries, and it's called NATO, and this agreement, this pact we have with these other countries says, if one gets screwed with, we all get screwed with, and we will all fight for the one that got screwed with. We will all fight on their side. We will all come to their rescue. We will all come to their aid. What does that kind of remind you of in the streets of like the hoods and stuff of America? That's like gang mentality. The gang members, they fight each other. They'll fight each other all day long. But if someone from an outside gang comes in and messes with them, well, it's like you messed with their grandma or their grandpa or their mama. They ain't gonna take it. And that's what NATO is. NATO is like gang mentality. If someone messes with someone in the gang, we all in it together. Well, let me tell you something. The gang we in should be called the Powder Puff team. Because we the first team. Everybody else is not even the JV. They the practice squad. And I'm sorry to tell you. I mean, oh great, here comes Estonia to the rescue. I've never heard so. You'll never hear that. Oh yeah, they're gonna. I don't know. Finland. Oh yeah, we got the Finns on our side. Not the poo-poo Finland. I mean, those are good people, but they're not the war machine that's gonna come and rescue us if we get into it thick and deep with the other two world superpowers. And when I say we might get into it with them, who's to say they don't form their gang? And anyone who messes with anyone in their gang has to deal with everyone in theirs. And let's see. Let's sign up some of the people that's looking like it's going to be in their gang. Saudi Arabia, Iran, North Korea, Russia, China. I think Turkey might go that way. You never know who's going to turn. I even hear whispers that Japan might even think about it, because they are holding a lot of our treasuries and they know our dollar's about to crash, and they don't want to get caught in this, and they don't want to get caught on the wrong side with China coming after them. So they might end up saying, to hell with the United States. We're going with these guys. And guess what? They look a lot more like us than y'all do. We share culture a lot more than y'all do. We might even lose someone you don't think we can lose to the other side. So look, if this starts to happen, and they start to form their own version of NATO, which, I mean, people already say it's the BRICS nations, but I think that term is not going to be the one. I think they'll form an alliance. They'll sit down at a round table and they'll hash out their version of NATO and say, look, if anyone messes with any of us, we all in it. So let America deal with that. Put that in your freaking mouth and chew on it. So I think we're going to be screwed. And this is the other reason. They're starting to form their own financial alliances, and they're going to create a different currency. And you can tell the rest of this country all you want that the federal dollar is going to be the one that's in charge, but when it don't buy oil, when it don't buy gold, when it don't buy rare earth elements, it ain't worth nothing. It ain't worth anything. We're going to be holding on to stuff. If I have a cash backup, I might as well go put it in the fire and burn it. Hopefully I'll get rid of it before then, but I mean, silver and gold about the only thing I know, and some cryptos, but I know everybody, oh God, don't say cryptos. But look, you got to be spread out in numerous areas. Land, cryptos, infrastructure, possessions, food, metals, cash even. While the dollar is still very strong and means something. But let me tell you, I swear it does not look good for us people. And I'm not happy about where the prospects of this is going. I don't like our government, but I can tell you what, living under the boot of a country that's been repressed and oppressed by our government for decades, and possibly 100 years, you know. Some of these countries have been under our boot for that long. If they get to where they have the power over us, it ain't gonna be pretty. I don't want our evil people running this country, but the people that come in and tell us what to do after that, if they come in, it's gonna be nasty. Yeah, it's gonna be very bad for us. So it's kind of like, be careful what you wish for. I wish this regime that we have holding our government down would go away. I wish they'd go bye-bye. But if it's because we go to war with these other countries and they have something to say about our quality of life going forth from here, well, it might not be a pleasant journey for us. It might damn be bad. I'm not sure. I'll go along with some people that say it's like revelations and stuff, the end of the world. I just think it's a coming to terms with something new coming. I lost all the blueberries on here almost, just a very few still. I had a whole bunch of them on here. That's sad. Oh well, that was that freeze. Anyway, y'all, I just want y'all to get your mind in gear about this. Get yourself thinking about what's going on and what's happening, because this is gonna get scary if it goes the wrong way. And my thinking is this could turn on a dime for us. I think they're building a house back here. They sold this lot. Yeah. They're bringing in a bunch of dirt back there. Yep. Whew, they're bringing in a bunch of dirt. Okay. So, yeah, so just keep your eyes open. There ain't much any of us are going to be able to do about this, really. I mean, aside from rising up and getting it fixed, which I don't think will ever happen. I think it's going to be too late by the time people figure out they're going to be the third world kind of countries. The majority of the population in this country will be living like Venezuela is living. I don't know what that was. Someone took off. But I think the majority of this world will be living like Venezuela is now, and maybe go back to like the Weimar Republic of Germany, and we might be struggling to feed our own selves when we were such a glorious country at one time. Sad to say, I'm 2 generations from what they call the greatest generation. And I remember talking to my grandparents who were part of that. And I tell you, you even got to think back to when it was with them. They were so intent on doing good, working hard, they didn't pay attention to what was happening in the White House at those times, because that's when it started really falling apart. That's when the seeds were planted. 1910, I mean, it was before that. They had people that always wanted bad stuff to happen. But in 1910, it was decided that there would be a federal bank. And in 1913, it went into effect. So all the way back then, when this trouble, the demons were born, I guess, if you want a metaphor or something to liken it to. But anyway, just keep your eyes open, because I think pretty soon you're going to see a bunch of nations that you never thought would band together, coming together in the sole purpose of putting the United States down. And that means you and me, our children, down. They hate us. We are looked at as evil, even in countries where we think we are liked. Those countries are still mad at us. They're not gonna go against us until the end, but they will. And even those countries that are in our gang are gonna get jump ship when they realize the winning team has changed. So anyway, y'all, I'm back to square one. I'd like to tell y'all thanks for listening, and hey, pray. Always keep Jesus in the forefront of everything you do. I think there'll always be winners. Even in the worst of times, some people win, and I think those winners are going to be the preppers, the preparers, the ones that look back how to live without the means of a lot of money, a lot of riches. The ones that know how to live by their own two hands. So start learning how to live by the sweat of your brow, the leather in your hand, how your hands will become leather because of the work, and working your fingers to the bone. We're going to come to that. All right, y'all. Take care.